In the small town of Kiyotsu, nestled deep within the lush forests of Japan, stands an old school that whispers secrets of the past. I remember the first time I laid eyes on Kiyotsu School. It was a late autumn afternoon, the air thick with an unsettling stillness that seemed to hang over the crumbling structure like a dark shroud. This wasn't just any school. It was a place where laughter once echoed through the hallways. But now, only the rustle of leaves and the occasional creak of rotting wood could be heard. My name is Hiro, and this is my story, a tale woven with the threads of mystery, fear, and the inexplicable events that have haunted Kiyotsu School for decades. As a child, I was always drawn to the stories whispered among the villagers. Tales of students who vanished without a trace, their names etched into the town's folklore like a ghostly reminder of what once was. These stories, however, weren't just idle chatter. They carried weight, a somber reverence that wrapped around Kiyotsu School like a thick fog. My curiosity was piqued, and the chilling allure of the unknown became my obsession. I decided I would unearth the truth behind the school's haunted reputation, no matter the cost. Standing before Kiyotsu School, the ancient architecture loomed like a giant sentinel, its cracked walls and sagging roof bearing witness to the passage of time. The building was constructed in the early 1900s, a blend of traditional Japanese design and Western influences that gave it a unique, albeit eerie charm. The once vibrant paint now peeled away, revealing layers of neglect and decay. Darkened windows seemed to watch me as I approached, their empty stares filled with unspoken tales. I could almost feel the weight of the history contained within those walls, as if they were holding their breath, waiting for someone to uncover the truth. The air was heavy with a palpable sense of dread, tinged with the scent of damp wood and moss. A chilling breeze rustled through the trees surrounding the school, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. It was easy to imagine the laughter of children mingling with the whispers of the wind, but that laughter had long since faded, replaced by the echoes of sorrow and fear. The townsfolk often spoke in hushed tones about the strange happenings that took place here, students who felt compelled to explore the forbidden corners of the school, only to never return. Even the teachers spoke of the unsettling whispers that danced between the walls, murmuring secrets from the shadows. As I stood before Kiyotsu School, I knew I was drawn to uncover the secrets hidden within. My heart raced with a mix of excitement and trepidation. What truths lay behind those weathered doors? Were the stories of the missing students merely figments of imagination, or was there something more sinister lurking within? I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, as if the school itself were aware of my intentions. The thrill of the unknown ignited a fire within me, pushing me to step into the darkness. Before diving deeper into this chilling tale, I want to take a moment to invite you, dear viewers, to join me on this journey. If you find yourself captivated by the mysteries we're about to explore, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Your support fuels my passion for uncovering these eerie stories and sharing them with you. Returning to Kiyotsu School, I hesitated at the entrance, the heavy door creaking as if reluctant to open. It was a threshold between the ordinary and the extraordinary, where the past mingled with the present. I stepped inside, and a wave of cold air washed over me, sending shivers down my spine. The hallway stretched before me, dimly lit by the remnants of a once grand chandelier. Dust danced in the shafts of light, creating a surreal atmosphere that felt both magical and terrifying. The walls were adorned with faded photographs of students and teachers, their faces frozen in time, watching me with a haunting familiarity. I couldn't help but wonder, what had they seen? What had they experienced within these walls? With every step I took, the echoes of their stories reverberated in my mind, intertwining with my own growing fear. In that moment, I realized I was not just a visitor. I was part of a narrative that had been unfolding long before my arrival. As the door creaked shut behind me, sealing me within the school's embrace, I understood that the journey I had embarked upon would lead me down a path filled with chilling revelations. And thus, the haunting of Kiyotsu School began. Kiyotsu School was established over a century ago, its purpose simple yet profound: to educate the youth of this small, quiet town. Built in 1902, the school was designed to embody a fusion of modernity and tradition, with wooden beams and tatami mat classrooms that welcomed eager students into a world of knowledge. For decades, it stood as a beacon of hope and promise, a place where generations of children learned, played, and formed friendships that would last a lifetime. But beneath the surface of this idyllic setting lay a dark history, one that would soon overshadow its legacy. The first cracks in Kiyotsu School's facade appeared in the late 1950s, when a series of inexplicable events began to unfold. It started with whispers among students, stories of strange noises echoing through the hallways after dark, inexplicable shadows flickering just beyond their sight. At first, these tales were dismissed as mere figments of an overactive imagination. But as time passed, a palpable sense of dread settled over the school like a thick fog. The tipping point came one fateful autumn day in 1958, when a beloved student named Akiko vanished without a trace. She was just 11 years old, a bright girl with dreams of becoming a doctor. Akiko had stayed after school to help a teacher with a project, but when her parents arrived to pick her up, she was nowhere to be found. The search parties scoured the nearby forests, combed through every nook and cranny of the school, and yet, no trace of Akiko was ever discovered. The community was rocked to its core. Akiko's disappearance sparked fear among parents and students alike, casting a long shadow over Kiyotsu School. Teachers who had once cherished the laughter and joy of their students now found themselves haunted by the emptiness left behind. Some claimed to hear Akiko's laughter echoing in the halls, a cruel reminder of the child who had vanished. They began to whisper of a curse, a dark force that had taken her and could claim others if left unchecked. In the months that followed, several more students went missing, each case more baffling than the last. One after another, names of bright, promising children fell into the void, leaving families shattered and a community gripped by terror. The students who remained began to share tales of eerie occurrences, disembodied whispers that seemed to call their names, cold drafts that swept through the corridors, and the feeling of being watched even in the safety of their classrooms. Rumors circulated about hidden passages and dark secrets buried within the school's walls, as students dared each other to uncover the truth behind the hauntings. The town's elders, desperate to quell the growing panic, organized town meetings to discuss the phenomenon. Many believed that the school was cursed, a vessel for restless spirits seeking retribution. Others suggested it was a mere coincidence, attributing the disappearances to the allure of the nearby mountains and the wild nature that surrounded them. Yet, despite their attempts to rationalize the horror, the community could not shake the growing sense of unease. By the late 1960s, Kiyotsu School had become a shadow of its former self. Enrollment dwindled as families chose to relocate, fearing for their children's safety. Those who remained clung to the hope that the missing children would one day return, their faces forever etched in the hearts of the town. The once vibrant halls were filled with echoes of despair, and whispers of Akiko and the others haunted the very walls that had once nurtured their dreams. As I delved deeper into the history of Kiyotsu School, I began to understand the weight of its legacy. The stories of loss and longing permeated every corner of the building, intertwining with the very air I breathed. It was clear to me that the past had not simply faded away. It lingered, waiting to be unearthed, like a ghost yearning for acknowledgement. I couldn't help but feel a sense of urgency, an insatiable need to uncover the truth behind the disappearances. Why had these children vanished? What forces were at play within Kiyotsu School? The answers were buried deep within the school's history, and I was determined to unearth them. As the sun began to set, casting eerie shadows that danced across the school's facade, I knew I was on the cusp of discovering the darkness that had claimed Kiyotsu's youth. But would I find answers? Or would I become just another name whispered in the halls, another ghost tied to the tragic fate of this haunted school? As I stepped deeper into Kiyotsu School, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. The air felt thick with history, every corner laden with the weight of untold stories. It wasn't long before I began to encounter the eerie phenomena that had turned this place into a local legend. Students and teachers alike had reported unsettling occurrences, and now I was determined to uncover their truth. One of the most common tales recounted by both students and faculty was the phenomenon of whispers echoing through the empty hallways. Teachers would often dismiss the sounds as mere figments of an overactive imagination, yet the whispers seemed too distinct to be ignored. "Hero, hero," they would murmur softly, echoing through the corridors as if beckoning me closer. It was a voice that was both familiar and haunting, chilling me to the bone. I could feel it wrapping around me, drawing me deeper into the shadows of the school. On particularly quiet afternoons, students would report hearing their names called, only to turn and find the hallways completely deserted. The eerie quality of these whispers turned simple strolls between classes into a heart-pounding experience. I remembered my own unease as I walked the same hallways, feeling a strange chill wash over me, as if something, or someone, were watching from the shadows. One student, a shy girl named May, shared a story that sent shivers down my spine. She recounted an incident where she was in the art room late one evening, the only sound the soft scratch of her pencil on paper. Suddenly, she felt an icy draft sweep through the room and the whispers started. "It felt like they were right next to me, urging me to look up," she said. When she finally did, she saw a shadow dart past the window, a fleeting glimpse of something she couldn't quite describe. The fear in her eyes told me she had experienced something truly terrifying. Teachers, too, were not exempt from the strangeness. Mr. Tanaka, the longtime history teacher, confessed to hearing unexplained sounds while grading papers late at night. He spoke of a feeling of being watched, an overwhelming sensation that would wash over him like a cold wave, making him look up to find empty desks staring back. "I've heard the sound of footsteps, faint but deliberate, walking through the rows of empty seats," he told me. "But every time I investigate, I find nothing but silence." His stories echoed the experiences of so many others, an invisible presence that roamed the school, leaving an indelible mark on all who entered. Another disturbing theme emerged among the students: the inexplicable pull they felt toward certain areas of the school. Many reported feeling drawn to the old library, a room filled with dust-covered books and shadows that seemed to dance in the dim light. "It's like something is calling me," said Kenji, a boy who often spent his lunch breaks among the stacks. "I can't explain it, but I feel an urge to explore the deepest corners, like I'm meant to discover something hidden." His words resonated with me as I recalled my own curiosity about the library's forgotten tomes and secrets. The chemistry lab was another site of attraction. Students spoke of feeling an overwhelming compulsion to conduct experiments late into the night, as if some unseen force were urging them to stay. But the lab had its own dark history. Rumors of a tragic accident involving a chemistry teacher decades ago haunted its sterile walls. "I always feel like someone is watching me in there," said Akira, a student who had ventured in alone. "It's like the room remembers what happened. Sometimes I swear I can hear someone whispering about the formula. It's chilling." As I absorbed these chilling accounts, I felt a growing sense of unease. It was as if Kiyotsu School had become a living entity, pulsating with memories of its past, an entity that didn't want to be forgotten. The whispers that echoed through the hallways seemed to echo the voices of the missing students, urging the living to heed their calls. Each shadow that flickered out of the corner of my eye felt like a reminder of the children who had been lost, their stories left untold. My heart raced as I began to piece together the unsettling puzzle that surrounded this haunted institution. What lay behind the whispers? What secrets were hidden within the walls of Kiyotsu School? The more I delved into the unexplained phenomena, the more I felt the pull of the unknown, drawing me closer to the heart of the mystery. The school was alive, and it had something to reveal. A truth buried deep within its haunted past. Driven by an insatiable curiosity and a thirst for answers, I knew I couldn't simply stand by and let the chilling stories of Kiyotsu School fade into obscurity. As I walked its haunted halls, I felt a growing determination to uncover the truth behind the whispers and shadows that plagued this once vibrant institution. The tales of missing students and eerie occurrences tugged at my heart, igniting a fire within me to piece together the fragmented history of this school. My investigation began in the small town of Kiyotsu, where I sought out former students and teachers who had witnessed the unexplained phenomena firsthand. Their recollections were invaluable, providing me with a glimpse into the chilling events that had unfolded within the school's walls. I arranged meetings in cozy coffee shops, where the scent of roasted beans mingled with the weight of memories. My first interview was with Ms. Yoshida, a retired teacher who had spent over 3 decades at Kiyotsu School. Her face, etched with lines of wisdom and sorrow, lit up with nostalgia as she recounted her experiences. "The first disappearance shook us all to the core," she began, her voice trembling. "Akiko was a bright student. She had so much potential. After she went missing, the atmosphere in the school shifted. It was as if we were all walking on eggshells, afraid of what would happen next." Her eyes filled with tears, and I could see the pain of loss etched in her expression. As Ms. Yoshida spoke, she revealed that strange occurrences became more frequent following Akiko's disappearance. There were nights when the teachers would gather in the staff room, sharing stories of things they had seen or heard, she continued. We often heard footsteps in the halls when we knew we were alone. But the most chilling was the whispers. They seemed to come from everywhere, echoing through the empty rooms, calling us by name. It was as if the spirits of the school were reaching out to her, urging her to remember their lost souls. Intrigued, I sought out former students, including a group of friends who had attended Kiyotsu School during the late 1970s. They met me at a local park, their faces lined with the nostalgia of youth. Their laughter faded as they began to share their own eerie experiences. "We thought we were just kids with wild imaginations," said Hiroshi, one of the former students. "But looking back, I realize now that there was something truly strange about that place." As they recounted their memories, it became clear that Kiyotsu School had left an indelible mark on their lives. One of the group, Aiko, shared a particularly haunting story. "I remember one afternoon we were in the gym practicing for the school play," she said. "Suddenly the lights flickered and we heard a girl's voice whispering, 'Help me.' It was so clear, so real. We all froze, terrified. It felt like she was right there with us." The fear in Aiko's eyes reflected the deep impact that Kiyotsu School had on her. "Even now I can't shake the feeling that there's something unresolved," she confessed. "It's like the school is still holding on to the pain of those who disappeared." Determined to get to the bottom of these stories, I decided to explore the library, where many of these encounters had originated. Surrounded by shelves of dusty books, I felt the weight of history pressing down on me. The air was thick with an unshakable tension, and I couldn't help but recall the feelings of those students who had felt an inexplicable pull toward this room. As I combed through the archives, I stumbled upon newspaper clippings from the time of the disappearances. Headlines screamed of tragedy and loss, but one article caught my attention, a report detailing an old legend surrounding the school. It spoke of a hidden room deep within Kiyotsu School, a place said to hold the answers to the haunting. The legend claimed that those who entered would be confronted by the spirits of the lost children, their voices begging to be heard. My heart raced at the thought of uncovering this hidden room. Was it possible that the answers I sought lay within its confines? With each conversation I had and every story I uncovered, I felt the tension mounting. The spirits of Kiyotsu School were reaching out, demanding to be acknowledged. I had to find that room to delve deeper into the mystery, and perhaps, just perhaps, give a voice to the lost souls who had been silenced for far too long. Armed with determination and a flickering sense of hope, I prepared to venture deeper into Kiyotsu School's haunted past. The walls seemed to hum with energy, whispering secrets of the forgotten, urging me to uncover the truth behind their stories. The journey had only just begun, and I could feel that I was getting closer to unraveling the dark tapestry that bound Kiyotsu School to its haunting legacy. With each story I had gathered, a sense of purpose enveloped me. I realized that to truly uncover the mystery of Kiyotsu School, I needed to confront its supernatural elements head-on. It was time to spend the night in the very heart of the haunting. Armed with a flashlight, a notebook, and an unquenchable curiosity, I made my way to the school just as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that danced across the dilapidated walls. The moment I stepped inside, the air shifted. An unsettling chill crept over me, sending shivers down my spine. The familiar hallways now seemed foreign, cloaked in darkness, where the faintest sounds echoed ominously. I felt a mix of excitement and dread as I settled into the old library, the same room where so many students had reported strange occurrences. The musty scent of aging paper and dust hung heavy in the air, adding to the atmosphere of forgotten stories and lingering spirits. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, the atmosphere thickened with tension. The silence was palpable, broken only by the occasional creak of the wooden floors or the distant flutter of wings as bats stirred within the rafters. I switched on my flashlight, the beam slicing through the darkness, illuminating the rows of forgotten books, their spines cracked and faded. I couldn't shake the feeling that eyes were watching me from the shadows, and I resisted the urge to glance over my shoulder. I had set up my recording equipment on a table in the center of the room, hoping to capture any whispers or unexplained sounds that might emerge during the night. As I began my observations, I noticed a peculiar draft sweeping through the room, causing the pages of a nearby book to flutter as if stirred by invisible fingers. I couldn't help but feel that this was no ordinary draft. It felt like a gentle beckoning, urging me to listen closely. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted again. A soft thud echoed from the back of the library, followed by a faint whisper, barely audible, but unmistakably present. My heart raced. I quickly adjusted my recording device, eager to capture anything that might reveal itself. The whispers grew clearer, and I strained to make out the words. "Help me. Help us." The voice was fragile and haunting, sending chills racing down my spine. It was as if the school itself was pleading for recognition, desperate to share its burden of sorrow. With trembling hands, I moved toward the source of the sound, my flashlight trembling slightly. Each step felt heavy, as if the floor were laden with the weight of unseen eyes. As I reached the back of the library, I noticed an old door, slightly ajar and cloaked in shadow. My pulse quickened. It was as if the very air around me buzzed with anticipation. I hesitated for a moment, battling an instinct to retreat. But my resolve strengthened. I had come too far to turn back now. I pushed the door open, the rusty hinges creaking in protest. The room beyond was dark and cluttered with forgotten furniture and dusty artifacts. The moment I crossed the threshold, I felt an oppressive energy surround me, thick and almost suffocating. In the corner, I spotted an old wooden desk, its surface marred with scratches and deep grooves. As I approached, I noticed something glinting beneath a pile of dust. It was a small brass key, intricately designed and cold to the touch. My heart raced as I picked it up, sensing that this key held significance. Perhaps it was the key to unlocking the secrets of Kiyotsu School. But before I could ponder its meaning, a sudden crash reverberated through the room. My flashlight flickered, and I turned to see shadows swirling in the corners, twisting and contorting as if trying to escape from something unseen. Panic surged within me, but I fought to stay grounded. "Is anyone there?" I called out, my voice wavering as I struggled to contain my fear. In response, a chilling wind swept through the room, extinguishing my flashlight. The darkness enveloped me completely, leaving me alone with the whispers. "Help us." The voices urged again, now louder and more desperate. My instincts screamed for me to run, yet something held me in place, a mix of fear and fascination. I had come to confront the unknown, and now it was revealing itself in ways I had never anticipated. As I stood in the darkness, heart pounding in my chest, I realized that I was no longer just an observer. I was part of the story, a story that demanded to be told. The spirits of Kiyotsu School were reaching out to me, inviting me to uncover their truths. The tension in the air crackled with energy, a storm of emotions swirling around me. I felt a deep connection to those who had come before me, those who had been silenced but were now desperate to be heard. I took a deep breath and reached for the key in my pocket, a symbol of my commitment to this investigation. With renewed determination, I prepared to face whatever lay ahead, ready to unlock the mysteries that had haunted Kiyotsu School for far too long. As the oppressive darkness of Kiyotsu School closed in around me, I felt an overwhelming sense of purpose. The whispers that had taunted me since I arrived now beckoned with a haunting clarity, drawing me deeper into the heart of the school's mysteries. With the brass key clutched tightly in my hand, I felt an unshakable pull toward the unknown, as if the very walls were guiding me to a hidden truth. The air grew thick with tension, and the soft whispers transformed into a low hum, reverberating through the empty halls. This way, they seemed to chant, swirling around me like a ghostly breeze. I followed the sound, my heart pounding in rhythm with the echoes of the school's past. Each step felt heavier than the last, my anticipation mixed with fear as I ventured into the depths of the building. I moved through the dimly lit corridors, the shadows creeping closer, almost reaching out as if to warn me of the dangers ahead. My instincts screamed at me to turn back, yet an insatiable curiosity propelled me forward. I approached an old staircase, its wooden steps creaking underfoot. The whispers intensified, guiding me downwards into a forgotten realm. At the bottom, I found myself in a narrow hallway that felt almost suffocating. The walls were lined with peeling paint, and the flickering overhead light cast eerie shapes that danced along the ground. Suddenly, the whispers shifted, becoming more urgent. "Help us! Help us!" they cried, resonating in my bones. My breath quickened as I rounded a corner, and there, hidden behind a dilapidated door, was a room that felt alive with energy. With the brass key shaking in my hand, I inserted it into the rusty lock. It clicked open with an unsettling finality, and I pushed the door wide, revealing a chamber filled with dust and despair. The air felt heavier here, as if the room itself held memories of sorrow and loss. Old desks lay scattered, covered in layers of dust that hinted at their long-abandoned purpose. As I stepped inside, the whispers swelled to a crescendo, overwhelming me. I could hear distinct voices now, a chorus of children's cries echoing in the dark. "We're here! We're here!" They sounded both hopeful and desperate, and my heart ached at the sorrow behind their words. I stumbled back, feeling disoriented, as the weight of their presence enveloped me. Suddenly, a gust of wind burst through the room, swirling around me and causing papers to flutter like birds escaping a cage. In that chaotic moment, I caught sight of something shimmering on the ground. I knelt down, brushing away the dust to reveal a tattered notebook. It was filled with the writings of students, fragments of thoughts, drawings, and, hauntingly, the names of those who had disappeared over the years. As I flipped through the pages, I felt a deep connection to these children, their fears and dreams etched in ink. My breath caught as I recognized the name of Akiko, the first student to vanish. Next to her name were notes detailing her experiences at the school, her feelings of isolation, her longing for companionship, and, chillingly, her mention of the whispers that had haunted her. It dawned on me that she had been trying to reach out for help long before she disappeared. Tears streamed down my face as I read the final entries. They revealed a chilling pattern. Many of the students who had vanished had felt an inexplicable pull towards certain areas of the school, just as I had. It was as if the very structure of Kiyotsu School was a web designed to ensnare the innocent. The realization hit me like a tidal wave. The spirits of the lost children were trapped, yearning for acknowledgement and closure. In that moment, the room grew colder, and the whispers transformed into a harmonious plea, rising and falling like a haunting melody. "Remember us. Remember us," they echoed, intertwining with the memories I had uncovered. I felt an overwhelming responsibility to tell their stories, to bring their voices back to the living world. With renewed determination, I stood up, holding the notebook close to my heart. "I will remember you," I vowed, my voice trembling with emotion. "I will share your stories and ensure that you are never forgotten." Suddenly, a wave of energy surged through the room, enveloping me in warmth. The whispers softened, and I felt a sense of peace wash over the chamber, as if the spirits were acknowledging my promise. In that moment, I understood that my journey was not just about uncovering the mystery of Kiyotsu School. It was about honoring the lives that had been lost within its walls. As I stepped back into the hallway, the darkness felt less suffocating, the whispers now a gentle hum of gratitude. I knew that my investigation had only just begun, but I had found the key to unlocking the school's haunting legacy. With the knowledge I had gained, I was prepared to share the truth of Kiyotsu School with the world, ensuring that the voices of its lost children would finally be heard. As I emerged from the depths of Kiyotsu School, the weight of my experience settled heavily on my shoulders. The chill of the night air kissed my skin, a stark contrast to the warmth I had felt in the hidden room. The whispers still echoed in my mind, weaving a tapestry of stories that demanded to be shared. Each name in the notebook, each cry for help, became a haunting reminder of the lives that had been lost to the shadows of this institution. In the days that followed, I found it challenging to shake the emotional burden of my investigation. The faces of the missing students lingered in my thoughts, their stories etched in my memory. I replayed the haunting whispers over and over, their collective plea urging me to uncover the truth. It was clear that Kiyotsu School was not just a location. It was a vessel of sorrow, a place where hopes and dreams had been extinguished without a trace. The history of the school, with its tragic beginnings and the mysterious disappearances, felt like a puzzle with missing pieces. I sought answers. What truly happened to those children? Were they victims of something sinister? Or had they fallen prey to their own fears? The more I investigated, the more questions emerged, leaving me with a sense of urgency to unravel the threads of their stories. In my quest for understanding, I began to delve deeper into the records and reports surrounding Kiyotsu School. I spoke with locals who had lived in the area for decades, each with their own stories to tell, stories that interwove with the fabric of the school's dark legacy. Some spoke of strange occurrences they had witnessed as children, while others shared the chilling tales their parents had passed down through generations. But despite my efforts, the answers remained elusive. Kiyotsu School stood as a silent sentinel, guarding its secrets with an iron grip. The whispers had quieted since my visit, but the emotional resonance lingered in the air. I had given voice to the forgotten, but the mystery of their fate continued to gnaw at my mind. What if those whispers were merely echoes of a past that could never be fully understood? What if Kiyotsu was a place where the boundary between the living and the dead blurred, where the souls of the lost were eternally trapped, longing for release? As I sat in my room, reflecting on my journey, I felt an overwhelming sense of responsibility. The stories I had gathered weren't just tales of horror. They were fragments of lives that deserved to be remembered. I envisioned sharing my findings, hoping that by shining a light on the darkness, I could bring some measure of solace to the families of those who had disappeared. Yet, as I pondered my next steps, I recognized that the mystery of Kiyotsu School was far from over. The truth was tangled in a web of pain, loss, and unanswered questions. I felt an unshakable connection to the spirits I had encountered, as if they were silently urging me to continue my quest for understanding. I invite you, dear viewers, to join me on this journey. Have you ever experienced something inexplicable? A whisper in the dark? A presence that felt all too real? The world is filled with mysteries waiting to be uncovered, and Kiyotsu School is just one of many that beckon us to explore their depths. What do you think happened to the missing students of Kiyotsu? Are there other haunted places in your life or community? I encourage you to share your thoughts, stories, and experiences in the comments below. Let's open a dialogue, creating a space where we can confront the shadows together. Kiyotsu School remains an enigma, a ghostly reminder of the past, but it is also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the pursuit of truth, we honor those who came before us, ensuring that their voices will never be silenced again. As we continue to explore the depths of the unknown, let us carry their stories with us, illuminating the darkness one whisper at a time. As I wrapped up my investigation into the haunting mysteries of Kiyotsu School, I couldn't shake the feeling that our exploration together was just the beginning. The stories of the missing students echo in my mind, their whispers a constant reminder of the pain and unresolved questions that linger within those old walls. Every encounter, every chilling revelation has deepened my commitment to uncovering the truth. Yet, I know that I cannot do this alone. The world is filled with stories, some chilling, some beautiful, that connect us all in ways we may not fully understand. Now, I turn to you, dear viewers. Have you ever experienced something that felt otherworldly or inexplicable? Perhaps a whisper in the night or a shadow darting just out of sight? Your stories matter, and I invite you to share them in the comments below. Whether it's a personal experience or a tale passed down through generations, let's create a space where we can share our encounters with the unknown. Together, we can unravel the mysteries that surround us, shining a light on the dark corners of our shared experiences. Your insights and stories might just help piece together the puzzle of Kiyotsu School and beyond. Thank you for joining me on this haunting journey. If you enjoyed this exploration into the supernatural, please like this video and subscribe for more chilling tales and investigations. Remember, the world is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered, and together we can illuminate the darkness one story at a time.